Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again. And today, people, today we are here for the finale, episode 50 of Avataro Sentai Donbrothers, the season finale, and we are on to King Olja after this. And I love the Red Ranger send off. I love that they do those. The Red Ranger passing out to the next Red Ranger. I love that concept. They're all so freaking cool. And King Olja red, his suit, it's really red. Like, it's red all over, bro. Like, he is straight blood. Like, it barely has any other colors on. The only other color on the only other color it has on it is black, and that's the freaking visor. But we're gonna go ahead and get into episode 50 of Avataro Sentai Donbrothers. I'm gonna miss this series. I'm gonna miss this season. I say that about every Sentai I watched. Yeah, I do like some more than others, but I felt this is the way I felt when Q Ranger ended, and you know that feeling has come back because Q Ranger, it was like everything to me. But other than that, in this episode, we see that the Cerebrand executors have come, and well, they are here, but they have finally made their move, and their name is Sonaya, and Sonaya and Sona, and it's a male and a female, and they are basically here to execute the Donbrothers and and basically everyone. And they, throughout this episode, we do see that Taro is going off to the rest of the Donbrothers, rest of the team, and asking them how do they feel about being in the Donbrothers, how do they feel about being part of this team. And everyone has that, how like, yeah, it was a pain at first, but it gave me good friends, and like everybody has something positive to say about, we do like a small like recap of how they entered the Donbrothers. It doesn't do everybody. It doesn't do Jiddu. But yeah. So basically, he's asking everyone how he feels, how it felt to be in the Donbrothers, and they noticed that Taro is acting very weird. And we kind of saw this in that earlier episode where Taro was like started to forget things, and he was starting not to care about certain things. And while this is going on, we see that the Cerebrand executors are basically going and finding Sonashi. I'm so glad I don't have to say their names again after this. Sonaroku, Sonashi, and I forgot her name, but they're actually going off, and they end up executing all three of them. And we see that Sonashi is the last one to get taken out. He's actually one that does actually run away for a while, but they take out the girl first, and the female executor Sonaya, she takes out Sonago, that was her name, Sonago. So Sonaya takes out Sonago, and she ends up taking her power. She ends up taking her, like, her transformation, like her, I don't want to say ranger form, but she ends up taking her form away from her, and then like epically destroying her. And we actually see what it looks like when a Cerebrand dies. Basically their body just explodes in like glass, like it's like a energy glass looking effect, and she's taken out. And then after that, they ended up taking out Sonaroku. We see that Sonoya, the other Cerebrand executor, he comes in and he takes out Sonaroku, and he does the same thing that Sonaya did, where he ends up taking his transformation form and epically destroying Sonaroku. And when they do that, and as that's going on, we see that the rest of the Donbrothers are, we see that Taro is still going off and talking to all the other Donbrothers. He talks to Haruka, and she talks about how it changed her life to be in it, and she says that she likes people more now. He talks to Blue, telling him that, oh, like being part of the Dawn Brothers was like being in the sky, being part of a cloud, things like that. He talks about how much he liked it. He talks to Kijino. Kijino says that, yeah, maybe being part of Dawn. He doesn't even really have to ask them. They like just bring it up themselves. So he says that to Kijino, and Kijino says that, he catches him while he was moving, and he's like, well, he said, well, I still want to fight to protect people and things like that. Then he ends up going to Tsubasa, and we see Tsubasa before he gets there. He sees Tsubasa talking to Natsumi, and Natsumi essentially breaks up with him because he wouldn't tell her how he ended up becoming a fugitive, which I really think he should have done. He should have told her everything that happened and why he's a fugitive. He still would have told her, and he says that he doesn't tell her because I don't think you would have believed me. But she says that even if I did believe you or not, I can't keep doing this, is what Natsumi says. And Tsubasa, he completely understands what she's about to say, and she ends up breaking up with him. And she says, I'm sorry, but she ends up breaking up with him. She leaves, and then that's when he talks to Taro, and he was like, my life. He tells Taro that, yeah, my life really is a mess, but I'm still glad to be a part of the Dawn Brothers, even though I didn't know you guys for a long time. I'm still glad to be a part of the Dawn Brothers, and hopefully I can protect people who are in love, and I can protect the people and those who they love. And after that, he ends up speaking. After he talks to everyone, we see that the main team, they go to talk to Kaito, and they ask Kaito, why is he acting so weird? And Kaito tells him that now that Jiru, his successor, because Jiru is supposed to be Taro's successor, tells him that he has matured. That Jiru has essentially matured, and the Cerebrand threat has basically been defeated. It's time for Taro's memories to reset. And I wish we kind of would have gotten some kind of clarity to that, or some kind of foreshadowing. Well, we got foreshadowing to it, but we didn't really get, we didn't even know that was a thing. We didn't even know that could happen when it came down to it. And that's one little that's one of the cons I can say about this episode. One other con I feel about this episode is that this episode felt very rushed. Like the last episode felt very rushed. Like everything was happening so fast, and I kind of hoped that they will at least be able to talk to Sonogo, Sonashi, and Sonoroku before they, were defeated or killed. And I kind of was hoping that we would actually get to see them before that happened. But they kind of see it, but it's only people that sees it is Sonoza and Sonoi. They end up seeing the executors actually take out Sonashi. Sonashi actually runs away, and I think they didn't take his form, because overall, out of the other three Cerebrand, his form's the coolest. But they end up chasing him down while he was in the way of, disinfecting a bunch of people at a wedding. Freaking douche. But he ends up getting destroyed in front of. He runs through portal doors, and he ends up getting destroyed by them in front of Sonoi and Sonoza. So while that's actually happening, we see that Kaito tells them that his stuff is gonna get reset, things like that, and he does end up going and getting teleported. Taro gets teleported to Jin, gets teleported to his cell, and we see that Jin is able to walk out of his cell. His cell starts to sparkling and all that stuff, and he's actually able to walk out his cell freely, and I guess he's a free man now. He talks to Taro, and they actually have food together like he did when Taro was a child. And he says, he's like, it's good and stuff like that. He says, if you don't mind me asking, who are you? I feel like we met before, but I don't know. And Jen's like, don't worry about it, And then that's when Taro ends up fading away again. And Jin says that, hey, you've done great work, like you've done a good job. So after that, we see that after Sonoshi is destroyed in front of Sonoza and Sonoi, they end up fighting the Cerebrand executors. And while that's happening, we see that the rest of the rest of the team and with Sonoi, they take Taro out to have food and stuff like that, as he tells Jin. And he told Jin this, and they're actually having food with him. And the old man sitting at the back of the counter ends up giving him food and on the house. And while Taro's talking to everybody, we see that Sonoi is like reminding him who everybody is, and he talks to everybody, and he basically gives everybody some kind words and stuff like that. We see that Kijino is bawling his eyes out, and then in the midst of that, he ends up forgetting who Sonoi is. He ends up forgetting who Sonoi is in that moment, and out of nowhere, an arrow falls down and hits the top of the shack, and we see that Sonoi sees that it's Sonoi's arrow, so he ends up running over to help Sonoi and Sonoza, and they ask him. He said, "Oh, hey, Sonoi," like, and they basically say that, "Hey, where's Don Momotaro?" And he says that Taro is enjoying his last days, and I won't let you interrupt it. So they end up fighting the executors, and these executors are pretty freaking creepy. Sonoya and Sonoya. Sonoya is the boy, Sonoya is the girl, and Sonoya. I feel like I've seen his face before. I feel like I've seen this actor before, because when he smiled evilly, I feel like I remember that smile. If you guys know who that guy is, please let me know down in the comment section below. But they end up fighting them, and we see that after they destroyed, basically before they destroyed Sonoichi, they ended up calling Murasame. Also Murasame ended up leaving Tsubasa, because Murasame is created by the Cerebrand, so he can be commanded by them. Hence, we saw Sonoza using him earlier in the series before. So he ends up going to Sonoya, and he uses Murasame to destroy Sonoichi, and Sonoshi ends up using him to destroy him. And while our good, like, Sonoi and the rest are fighting the executors, they're getting their butts kicked. And that's when we see that the Donbrothers do end up showing up to help them, and we see that Taro has left. We see that Taro ends up leaving, and everybody basically accepts that he's going to live a regular life. And while he ends up leaving, and you see that they end up going to help the Cerebrand fight the executors. And we see that basically Jiru is the new leader of the Donbrothers now, and they go out to fight the executors. Are fighting them, kind of getting their butts kicked, but they're holding their own. And we see that Sonoya tries to use Murasame as an attack, and we see that Murasame ends up rebelling against them, and he actually says, "I don't like you. That's why I'm rebelling." Literally his words. And he asks his mother, he's like, "Is that good, mother?" His mother's like, "Do as you see fit, Murasame." So that's when Murasame teams up with everybody else to fight the executors. While this is happening, we see that Taro has gone back to the cafe to talk to Kaito, and then Kaito gives him the manga that Haruka created, which is basically a manga all about them, and the art for this is very nice. I would actually really like to read this manga, because this manga art is very, very nice. It basically tells the entire story of Taro and the entire story of their team in general. And he starts to see this, and when he sees this, he gets to his page where he's morphed in his Ranger form. And while this is happening, everybody's kind of getting their butts whipped by the executors. And Kaito's watching him very vigilantly. He's watching him very closely, and that's when everybody's fighting them. They all get their butts kicked. Everybody's on the ground. They get ready to finish them off, and that's when Taro comes back with his classic laugh, his classic intro, with them holding him up on the thing, with them holding him up on the float and stuff like that. And that's when he comes in. He actually helps them fight the executors, but he ends up taking them out simultaneously by himself, which proves like how powerful Taro really is to take both of them out in one hit after charging his sword up a lot, the most we've ever seen him charge his sword up. And he ends up destroying them one hit, and then in the flash of the explosion, Taro leaves. He fades away, and that, I guess, when he ends up remembering after seeing everything in the manga, he ends up remembering stuff, and I guess maybe he remembered everything for that split, for that moment, and for that moment he remembered he remembered everything, and he flashed away. And after he left, that's when everybody kind of everybody starts to basically move on with their lives, essentially. See, Kijino, well, okay, I'll go down the line. Haruka is not writing her manga, and Sonoza is still her chief editor, and he's like on a video call with her. She's giving him advice and stuff like that. He's giving her advice and stuff like that. We see that Blue is still doing his same thing. He ends up taking off his scarf and basically walking off from it. We see that Tsubasa is now dating, which kind of, he's dating Sonoe now, and they're running from the cops together. And now they both have bounties on their head. They both have 15 million yen bounty on their head now, and they're being chased by the cops. We see that Kijino ends up, he's still moving and stuff like that, but that's when Natsumi comes to his house while he's moving, and she tells him, "Would you like to continue the dream together?" And he's like, "What? I what?" And then that's when we see we don't see what Jiru was doing, but yeah. And so after that, we see Haruka. She's in her room with, talking to Sonoza, and we saw that she ends up having a little press conference congratulating her on her success of her manga, and she talks about being called a plagiarist now is kind of cute now, whatever, and she's very successful with her new manga, and everybody's there with her. Everybody's all dressed up, stuff like that, to congratulate her. And we see that she's at home, and the doorbell rings, and she asks her auntie to get it, but her auntie can't get it, so she ends up going to the door. It turns out it's Taro, but he's still doing his delivery job, but he has a whole new outfit now. It's all white now, and he's back to doing his delivery stuff. And she looks at him and she smiles, and he says the same thing he said to her when he first met her. He says, "Looks like we made a bond." And that's the end of the episode, and we get the classic Red Ranger send off from Dama Motaro to King Oja Red. I'll say that for now, King Oja Red. And the episode ends off right there, and then Donbrothers is officially over. But the thing I feel about it is there's a lot of unanswered questions, and this episode did feel really rushed. As awesome as it was, and as all nice and tugging at the heartstrings it did feel very rushed. So there are some things that we still don't know nothing about. With Kaito, we don't know why Kaito's there. We don't know what he's doing there. We don't know why he's as powerful as he is. We don't know why his suit's the way it is now. Like, we basically almost got nothing about Kaito. Like, I was hoping to see some more of Kaito. I was actually hoping to see if Kaito would actually join in the fight, but I know he had to be there to help Taro get his memories and things like that. But I was just wondering how, like, especially with the bestial stuff, we know that the other bestial that looks like Natsumi, basically, she sunk back into, I guess she's back in the bestial forest now, ever since she sunk into the water through the moon portal. So I'm guessing she's still alive. But yeah, and we still didn't get any. We barely still don't know anything about Murasame, his mother. I mean, we know about Murasame. We know what Murasame is and things like that. But he was gone for so long, and then in this episode, he just came out of nowhere technically, and there was like no foreshadowing to that. And I would like to see that, and I would also like to see who his mother is. Like, who is the woman talking to him? Like, we still don't know. We don't even know that. Like, who's a woman talking to him? We know it's his mother, but his mother, air quotes, but we don't know, what's happening with that. Even when they met the future Murasame, he didn't have a mother. So how is that gonna, where does that go? Because maybe all these questions will be answered in like a V cinema, something that happens after this. Maybe it's already come out and I have to check and look and see or whatever, but at the same time, but yeah, so we got a really, really good roll call, having Taro be last, and he remembers who he is, born from a peach, Don Momotaro. But other than that, I did like this episode a lot, especially the touchy-feely times and the saying goodbyes and the, everybody coming together type stuff, but it's still a lot of unanswered questions about a lot of this stuff, and it did feel very rushed. But I still liked it. Nonetheless. I still like this series all the way, like, nonetheless. But I will do a full video talking about my whole. I don't know if I will. Maybe don't count on it. But I'm thinking about doing a whole series review on this season of Sentai. But yeah, man. You guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of Avataro Sentai Donbrothers, the final episode, and what you guys think of the entire series overall. Like, how do you feel about the entire series overall when it comes down to Donbrothers? Who is your favorite characters? What were your favorite moments? I want to know all that stuff. I do. But you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about Donbrothers, and I'm going to see you guys next time. And it's off to King Ultra. We here. It's off to King Ultra, guys. But with that being said, I'm going to see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And remember, stay henshined.